All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Marakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone Rule Well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, the Bayat Dawadah, the house of David. All right, so we have this article, right, over here in the U.S. Sun, right? And it says about Walmart, right, with their key house, right? Now, this is nothing but getting into the mark of the beast. This is what this is all about here, okay? You see, that's why they're putting a $500 daily fine on them for not changing and upgrading their key house, right, for your self-checkout. You see, because it's all going to come down to either your hand, right, with that chip in it, or your forehead with that BCI in it, all right? See, it says off limits, Walmart required by law to change self-checkouts in U.S. state or face $500 daily fine, right? So let's play this here.
These are the small space solutions America's waited 250 years for. Bob's Betty Bedroom. It packs a style punch in even the smallest of spaces. Betty Dining, thousands of 5-star reviews, 4 fantastic colors. The Aspen Sofa, Bobopedic seats, channeled upholstery, and the Phantom that one customer wrote they loved so much they decided to buy the love seat.
Because nothing's more American than doubling down. Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
In a world of
All right, so there you have it right there, all right? So then this is just a little quick article. It's not really much, right? It says self-checkout key houses at Walmart stores in U.S. state have new guidelines to follow thanks to a newly passed law. The legislation threatens daily fines of $500 to any retailer failing to strike the correct checkout to staff balance. Right? It says Senate Bill 2342 is forcing Rhode Island grocery stores to adjust how many self-checkout lines they have open at a given time. Retailers like Walmart must now make sure they have a rate of one self-checkout line available for every 3 open self-checkout key houses. Right, and hey, listen, this is all getting into the mark of the beast, man. This is what this is all getting into. All right, there's no other way about this here. There's no other way about it, and no other way of getting around it. Okay, so it says SB right 2342 will also require stores to have at least one self-checkout lane compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act, right? ALS and things like that. You see where we're going with this here? The BCI, right? At all times, the law is also influencing what workers monitoring self-checkout lanes are responsible for by requiring them to be relieved, Salakia, at all other duties. You see, because they are to watch, right? It says the aspect of the law will be especially impactful to stores like Aldi, where employees are cross-trained to handle multiple roles at the same time. The law's definition of groceries will also see retailers this is nothing but buying and selling. You see, buying and selling. All right? CVS and Walgreens affected by the change despite not being grocery stores, but other retailers are being left out of the regulatory changes despite employing the same technology as highlighted by the critics of the bill. The proposal is especially egregious because it specifically targets only grocery stores, wrote Scott Bromberg, president of Rhode Island Food Dealers Association, in testimony against the initial proposal. All right, it says big box retailers, along with hardware stores, pharmaceuticals, dollar stores, fast food chains, or more utilize self-checkout to allow them to deploy the staff, Salakia, where needed most. The law's definition of groceries as raw or processed food or drink, prescription and over-the-counter drugs, and miscellaneous household products plays a role in this division. Stores that must adhere to the new rules are those that are those that make the majority of their gross income from the retailer stores of groceries. The lawmakers behind the bill says this intent is to preserve jobs and working hours for Americans in the Ocean State. That's all BS. That's all a lie. What they're doing is they're getting you ready for that RFID microchip, that BCI, right? The mark of the beast. Okay, that's what they're getting you ready for. All right. There's no other way about it. There's no other way that we can tell you. All right. So now let's go into some scriptures. All right. So this is Psalms chapter 36. And let's start at verse number 2. Let's read it in the KJV first. It says, "For he flattereth himself in his own eyes until his iniquity be found to be hateful. It says, the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit, and he have left off to be wise and to do good. He deviseth mischief upon his bed, and he setteth himself in a way that is not good, and he abhorreth not evil." All right, let's read it over in the NLT. In their deceit, in their blind consent, right? They cannot see how wicked they are. Everything they say is crooked and deceitful. They refuse to act wisely or do good. They lie awake at night hatching sinful plots, and their actions are never good, and they make no attempt to turn from evil. You see, and that's these devils, right? The so-called white man, the super elite, really. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, right? So on and so forth, the Mancini, so on and so forth, right? These are their plans and their plots, right? Because buying and selling groceries is buying and selling, man. Okay? Groceries is buying and selling. All right? Retail. You see? All right? Let me get you Micah 2:1. Let's read it over in the KJV first. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." You see? It says over in the NLT, it says, "What sorrow awaits you who lies awake at night thinking of evil plans? You rise at dawn and hurry to carry them out simply because you have the power to do so." Okay? Habakkuk 2 and verse number 2. Matter of fact, verse number 3, Salakia. Read it. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and will not tarry." NLT, it says, this vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place, and it will not be delayed. And that's right. This thing ain't going to be delayed, right? The mark of the beast is not going to be delayed, man. You know, they're going to push off this thing, you see, because they're going to make this a cashless society. Babylon the Great is going to be a cashless society. As you can see, everything is going digital. You know, eventually it's going to be CBDC, central bank digital currencies, right? Universal basic income, you see, and all of these things of that nature, right? You're going into a dystopia, right? And a digital, technocratical, totalitarian, authoritarian government. You see, where everything will be tracked, traced, and controlled. All right? Everything put on a blockchain. Everything can be looked at. Cameras, drones, Palantir, Gideon, right? Smart cities, surveillance, monitoring, analysis, reporting, and tracking. Everything camera looked at. Everything will be put on you. The scope will be put on you, man. Okay? You see? So let's go to Revelation. Right? Last couple scriptures. Revelation 13. Let's just go right down to the point. Right? Revelation 13, and let's go right to 16. Okay. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. That mark right there is charagma, right? In their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, that's transactional, or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that haveth understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You see? Right? Okay, and that's the universal product code as well, 666, right? The barcode. You become the barcode. You are going to be the new barcode, right? 16 over in the NLT, it says, he requireth every one, small, great, rich, and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead, and no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. Wisdom is needed here. Let the one with understanding solve the meaning of the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You see? And that's Esau Edom. That's the super elite. That's the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Gettys. That's their favorite number. As you can see, it's stamped all around, man. The World Economic Forum, right? So on and so forth, everywhere. You see? That number, okay? That's a number that's used frequently, all right? Revelation 16 and 2. It says, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore, right? That grievous sore, Halkos, okay? Pus is going to come from with high frequencies of radiation. You know, I always speak about that, right? 6G, that's what it's going to be connected to, right? It says, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So the first angel left the temple and poured out his bowl on the earth, and horrible malignant sores broke out, and everyone who had the mark of the beast and who worshipped his statue. Right. So let me go down here. Right. Let's go down here to verse number 10. Right, it says, and the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. Right, it says, and blasphemed the power Yahweh of heaven because of their pains and their sores, right, which is Helkos, and repented not of their deeds. Right, let's go up over here. It says, then the fifth angel poured out his bowl on the throne of the beast, and his kingdom was plunged into darkness. His subjects ground their teeth in anguish, and they cursed the Yahweh of heaven for their pains and sores, but they did not repent or their evil deeds and turn to Yahweh. Right? Okay? So let's go back over here. You take that mark, right? Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going to destroy you. Let's just go right to the point, verse 9. Right? I'm going to end it right here. It says, and the third followed them with a loud voice. If any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. That's ICBM intercontinental ballistic missiles and the concentrated fire from the chariots. Okay? It says, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, that's Yahweh, in their smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, and who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Right, and let's go up here and let's read it over in the NLT, and we're going to end it right there. All right. It says, then a third angel followed them, shouting, anyone who worships the beast and his statue, or who accepts his mark or the forehead on the hand must drink the wine of Yahweh's anger. It has been poured full strength into Yahweh's cup of wrath, and they will be tormented with fire and burning sulfur, right? Because that's what those missiles hold. They hold sulfur inside of it, man. Okay? In the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. The smoke and their torment will rise forever, right? And that's when you go back to Sodom and Gomorrah, because sulfur, the Lord had, that was found over there, right? When Sodom and Gomorrah was torched and set on fire. Sulfur was found over there, man. All right. But anyway, it says the smoke of their torment will rise forever and ever, and they will have no relief day or night, for they have worshipped the beast and his statue and have accepted the mark of his name. Okay. So, with that, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Marakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, the Bahayat, Dawadah, the house of David, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Abba Babal, repent ye, for the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is at hand. Shalom.